It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Geno Jones Showtime. So Monday through Friday, you can see me right here, live on my YouTube channel, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Tell everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, you got that? Like, click that thumbs up button below. Like, share and tag everybody you know. Like, share, and subscribe. We are, like 19 subscribers. I can do that. We can do that. By the time you get through, by the time this show is over, by the time that you finish watching this show, you can jump on a group chat, tell 20 people that, hey, listen, we got to help Geno out. We need to subscribe to his YouTube channel because he's only 19 subscribers away from becoming a YouTube partner. 1,000 new subscribers, and you got it. And my media company will get a check from YouTube every month. So thank you for your support in advance. It's 19 away. Man, some of y'all got 100 people in your group chat. At least 10 or 20, 25, 30 folks in your group chat. So go and send that group text out and let everybody know. Go to YouTube, type in the Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it. Come right up, click on that subscribe button. It is free. Watch the show live, like right now, if you're watching it, like it's about 7:30, 7:34 almost, here on the East Coast. And if you missed the live episode, every episode that I have ever done in 5 years, you can find right here on my YouTube channel. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so I kind of finished up last night just talking about just all of the madness. All the madness with ICE literally murdering people in cold blood on the street. All the madness with Orange Hitler and his regime going to places like Georgia and literally taking like all the ballots out of Fulton County. So, you know, it's a lot of crazy madness going on. Listen, we talk about it almost every night on this show on some level. And I said, one of the ways to really put an end to this is to hold the people accountable that bankroll this, that's financially supporting this regime. We need these CEOs, and we need to put pressure on these companies. More important, we need to put pressure on the CEOs, the shareholders, not so much to a lesser degree, because the CEOs, you know, it was a lot of them was standing around, sitting around Orange Hitler during his inauguration. Tim Cook, I'm name checking you. Apple, Elon Musk, we know he's racist ass. Jeff Bezos, we know who you are now with your little peanut head ass. We see why your ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, left your ass, but I digress. But there were other CEOs, I can't think of his name, the CEO of Google. There were a lot of CEOs. You saw, as a matter of fact, the CEOs were sitting in front of the U.S. senators and the U.S. House of Representative members. So that told you right there that all these MAGA senators and MAGA representatives in the House of Representatives, it's like, dude, he didn't give a shit about you all. You all had to sit like in the cheap seats, at the kids' table, and the billionaire CEOs, they were sitting at the grown folks' table with Orange Hitler. But the way to get people's attention with money and power is to dig in their pockets. Oh, by the way, the show is interactive, so everybody that's watching me live right now, hey, if you got a question, you got a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Jump in that chat room. You see where it says live chat. As a matter of fact, let me click on something here, which I should have did earlier. There you go. See where it says live chat? Go ahead, just jump in there. Let me know who you are, where you're watching, and if you want me to shout you out. As a matter of fact, my oldest daughter Boogie's got a birthday in less than 2 days now. As a matter of fact, shout out to out there on the West Coast, Lauren Shiana Hill Vaughn. So, all right, boo boo, Daddy's gonna give you a big shout out on your birthday. Of course, I'll FaceTime anyway. So let me go back to what he's talking about. People, the way to get people's attention with money and power is to dig in their pockets. So we have to hold these CEOs accountable. And the best way to hold these CEOs accountable that have shown you that they don't give a shit about you or me, all the, this whole social construct of race, it's a con. It's a con job. It's been a con job for centuries. The only color these billionaires care about is money. That is their Lord and Savior. Yes, their Lord and Savior. I just got through eating my green beans. I thought they were coming out, even though I chewed them up. But how sometimes you get like just a little piece. But anyway, I digress. So, once again, the way to get people's attention with money and power is to dig in their pockets to affect their bottom line, because their Lord and Savior is money. That is what they worship. So, affect that bottom line, affect that money. All of a sudden, people start acting differently. They move differently. They will, if they're smart. Now, some folks, some of these companies, some of these CEOs are just on this racist, white nationalist ideology, with the misogyny and sexism and homophobia and all this foolishness, white replacement theory. You can't replace white people. White is made up. Europeans, you all have given up those who are white, who identify as white MAGA supporters. You have given up your identity. It's Europeans. You weren't white when your ancestors were in Europe. They were German or Polish or Lithuanian or Russian or French or Italian or Irish or Scottish or from the United Kingdom or from Belgium, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Switzerland. You weren't white. This bullshit was made up to divide all of us, except for those few billionaires now who were millionaires before, those few wealthy elite that had the economic, social, and political power. I don't know how many times I can say this, but for those who still buy into this construct of race, then listen, do your thing. But the bottom line is, how do we because really we're in a situation where I don't think we can wait until November. I really don't. Because a lot of this can be slowed up. Yes, we get out and there's a lot of, is there going to be elections? And it's going to be elections. I'm pretty confident now it's going to be a lot of chicanery and skullduggery. Google that, look it up. Bad behavior. Cheating and attempt to cheat, and like I said, just sneaky, devious shit to try to, because your orange Lord and Savior, he knows if the Senate shifts and if Democrats get control of the Senate, because it's pretty clear that Democrats are going to get control of the House of Representatives. But what we are going through now, it is not about a political ideology. And I want people to understand that. Don't get distracted with Democrats and Republicans in terms of these labels, because it is a choice now between humanity and inhumanity. So we got to lean into humanity. And part of that leaning in humanity is, along with holding these CEOs accountable, because these CEOs can check a lot of this nonsense, since they bankrolled it in the first place. So the quickest way to do this is to dig in their pockets and we spend our money differently. Ask Target. Target found out. Now, I know you got your Amazon Prime memberships and you're always ordering packages from Amazon, but let me ask you something. What did you do? What did you do before Amazon? Now, UPS may not be much better. You know, I can't think of who the CEO of UPS is, but Jeff Bezos is so clearly MAGA and don't give a shit. So if you support this regime, you support what this regime is doing. Now you try to say, well, no, we don't know, because you knew this was going to happen. These CEOs didn't care. Enough of them were smart enough to know that people were going to be harmed, killed, because they put it in a 1,000-page book. They being this MAGA cult, Project 2025. Like mass deportation. They were at rallies with signs. Thousands of people, mass deportations. Are you surprised? He tried to do this the first time he was in office. So these CEOs, they got blood on their hands. The ones that have financially supported and the ones that are not saying anything, you are just as bad. Your silence cosigns. In essence, silence is co-signing for this bad behavior. Or another phrase people use, acquiesce. Your silence is acquiescence. That means you're cool with it. You're gonna go along with it. You're like, but it didn't bother you enough to speak up, to stand up and speak out, and to show up at the White House, to hold a joint news conference. All these Fortune 500 companies, they need to be 10 toes down. Listen, we're not with this snatching up 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds and families that are not murderers and rapists, that have just been here minding their own damn business. Many who are citizens, or they are going through the process to become citizens. They have temporary protective status, or they have a status to where they are not officially American citizens, but they are here legally, going through the entire process to become naturalized. But these CEOs didn't give a shit about that, which is kind of funny, but because where I'm going to go with that, because it's a whole other conversation, because a lot of these companies depend on this immigrant labor. Because these poor white folks ain't going to do this, and black folks are damn sure not going to go out in these fields in California and Florida and start picking fruits and vegetables. Now, what we need to do, start growing fruits and vegetables, black folks, in our own backyards, or maybe, in our window sills. Like in Chicago, you could grow some little plants. I think like little small, you could put your plant in the window, facing the sun. But that's a whole nother conversation. But we have to put pressure on these CEOs. And the best way, easiest way, and quickest way to do that is just, you know what? I'm not going to finance this murder, this mayhem, this cruelty, this inhumanity. I'm not going to finance it. Because if you as a CEO in your company, if you're not standing up and speaking out against this, then it means you are co-signing. You'll say, well, we're really getting, no. Because if you were really against it, you were really en masse, you would stand up, show up, and speak out. And you would do it consistently. You would show up to the White House and make demands and say, listen, this ICE, this version of immigration and custom enforcement, bullshit's got to go. We got to tear it down and rebuild it. But this is not working. Not at all. And going to states and trying to take the voting records of voters and American citizens and get Elon Musk has given up enough of our personal information. No. These CEOs, they've got the power to stop a lot of this. But we got more power because we have the power of the dollar. So we have to light a fire up under their ass. So we have to hold these CEOs accountable financially by not spending our money with these major companies, spending it differently, reward companies that do the right thing, and companies that don't do the right thing. Don't fund your own demise. I'm not going to give you money if I know you're going to take that money that I give you. I do business with your company. I buy your products. I use your services. I buy your goods. And then you take that money and you give it to a regime to give to this out of control, basically Nazi police force, invasion force. I'm not going to pay for more. I'm not going to give my money to companies that will in turn give that money to a regime that will shoot innocent people, American citizens exercising their First Amendment right. Literally shoot them down point blank in the head, in broad daylight, in the middle of the street, in a major American city. No, I'm not gonna fund that. I'm not bankrolling that bullshit. Not at all. Got to hold these CEOs accountable, which leads me to where I want to go with the monologue next. Speaking of holding accountable, I want to speak to men in general, all men, but myself as a black man, African American male. I always start. You see, you clean up your own house first before you go clean up anyone else's house. But this is a problem that it is race neutral. It's ethnicity neutral. The issue that we have, we looking at this situation with Jeffrey Epstein, and now you're finding out all these names and all of these horrible, crazy stories that are coming out. More and more of these Epstein files are coming out. Bill Gates and what he allegedly did and came down with, allegedly coming down with a STD, and was, according to all these reports in the Epstein files, emailing or going back and forth asking Jeffrey Epstein, could he get some antibiotics and figure out a way to get these antibiotics in his wife so she wouldn't come down with whatever STD he allegedly got from Russian prostitutes. And Elon Musk talking about how he wanted to be invited and tell me about the wildest parties, and there's so many people, CEOs, other billionaires, politicians, but you look at the former Prince Andrew out of England. His family just stripped all his shit down. It's like, dude, we basically disowning your ass. You are no longer a prince, nothing. You just a regular dude now. You're not even Andrew. You just Drew. They're like, they took his title and name, well, they just call him Yo Drew. Or D. Yo D. Because Yo D got your ass in trouble. You were following the wrong head. So we just stripping you of everything. But this is not a problem. I mean, this is not funny. This is a major problem. Sex trafficking, sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, sex trafficking. But I'm going to let you in on a dirty little secret. It's not a secret now because they're out in the open with it. They just feel that, fuck it, we can get away with anything. This has been going on for centuries. And you know who it started with? It started with not just black women, it started with black girls. We know about how our ancestors, they were sold into slavery to work the fields or to be the maids and the cooks in the home. Now, we know that many of our ancestors, our female ancestors, they were raped. How you think black folks like me got the complexion that I got? But I don't know if you know that part of the transcontinental, the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, which is what was practiced in America. I don't know if you know part of this American version of slavery, chattel slavery. Yes, men, women, and children were sold. They were sold into slavery, but not just to work, not just to work in the fields, not just to, work in homes and take care of children and clean homes. And yes, many of those women and some of the men were raped, but many, this is the dirty little secret, many black girls and some boys, but many black girls were sold for the express purpose to be raped. I'm not going to try to be cute with it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Sex trafficked. They wouldn't call it sex trafficking. Google the term fancy girls. There were women and girls who were sold to work either in the fields or in the house, but then there were fancy girls that were basically, they were sold to be used, to be raped, to be sexually assaulted, and some boys. There was actually a term for these, and these were black girls, not even adult women. Because if you go back and go to a museum, the majority of our enslaved ancestors were young. So this sickness goes back hundreds of years. It goes back decades. So here we are in 2026, and I was just talking about how we have to hold CEOs accountable. Well, men, we've got to hold each other accountable. And to the women who enable this behavior, this goes for you, but I want to speak to the men right now. Men, that we can end this nonsense. With Jeffrey Epstein and his ilk, this has been going on for 30 plus, maybe as far back as 40 years, but it was going on longer than that. It's just that Jeffrey Epstein came up with his own unique creative way of sex trafficking, and at the same time making sure that he had enough, I don't know if he had hidden tapes or videos on all of these prominent, successful, from millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, politicians, heads of state. There's so many people and so many men involved in this whole sex trafficking. But it goes back to the beginning, and I'm sure before that. But here in America, it goes all the way back to the beginning of chattel slavery, when our ancestors were sold into slavery. Because some of the little black girls were not just sold into slavery for work. They were sold into slavery to be sex slaves and to be sexually assaulted and raped. And it was legal because they were property. That means the banks that funded and financed slavery, they paid for this. They bankrolled it. Laws were written for little black girls legally to be raped without anyone being held accountable legally. Legalized sex trafficking. So man, we are in a time we have to stand up. We have to speak out and stop all forms of abuse. Like I said, from sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, sex trafficking, and just violence, not just sexual violence, but domestic violence. physical violence. Men, real men, we have to create a culture and make all of this deviant behavior in sexual violence or just physical violence against women unacceptable, and hold men accountable for this behavior, and hold men who know about it or enable it to hold them accountable also. Which leads me to my last quick topic before I'll wrap up the show, part of the monologue. I want to talk about, so you may or may not have heard, there's a comedian, a guy out of Chicago. I've seen this guy. He's been around. He's in his mid, I think around 55, 50, 56. This guy, Corey Holcomb. You know, his style of humor is just kind of outrageous, you know, just a shit talking kind of dude. You know, a lot of people see him as narcissistic, you know, kind of or misogynistic. You can Google him if you want to, but I ain't knocking this. Also, everybody, I do stand up. Everybody has their own style, but Corey Holcomb is known for, you know, just very aggressive, confrontational, you know, talk shit, and very like you could make a credible argument that his humor is rooted in misogyny and sexism, patriarchy. So, a video came out, I don't know, a couple months ago. I think this incident happened last November. There's a female comic, a woman comic. I think Crystal is her name. I didn't made a minute. Crystal. I don't want to get her name wrong. I'm pretty confident it's Crystal. I think it's, I don't want to say King, but you can find it. Anyway, a black female comic. Apparently her and Corey Holcomb had words. So Corey Holcomb decides to put his hands on this black female comic that they had something was going on. You know, I don't know what kind of history, but they got into like this verbal argument, and they going back and forth verbally. But Corey Holcomb, then he decides to put his hands on his female comic, and he punches her. Now, for Corey Holcomb, the problem was that punch got caught on video. Somebody's cell phone recorded that whole incident. And then somehow TMZ got a hold of it. It went viral, this video, because I've seen it. You may have seen it. And now, recently, I saw what Corey Holcomb said that, well, you know, man, thank you, TMZ. I'm paraphrasing. Thank you, TMZ. You ruined my life. You ruined my career. Yo, brother, you don't know me. I know of you. But I'm just going to give it to you straight. I believe, Corey, you from the South Side too. You know, we give it to you straight on the South Side. That's your style of comedy. Keeping it real, giving it to you straight, no chaser, right? I'm going to give it to you straight, Corey, no Holcomb. Or straight, no chaser, Corey. Mr. Corey Holcomb. TMZ did not ruin your life. You did that. You, Corey Holcomb, went on to say, yeah, TMZ, y'all got me good. No, Corey Holcomb. You got yourself. TMZ, whoever had the cell phone camera that recorded you when you punched that woman, that female comic, didn't ruin your life. You ruined your life. Because now he can't get work, he says, and he's had a lot of gigs canceled. Dude, I don't celebrate that. But karma is real. And the energy that you put out into the universe It will find its way back to you because it is your energy, good or bad. I've been saying this for 5 years on this show. Karma is real. To paraphrase the famous philosopher Damaris Jones, you know, karma, she's a slow bitch, but she will eventually show up. Corey Holcomb, meet karma. Oh, you're not the only one. Orange Hitler, Donald Trump, and all these other men that's being mentioned, because karma already met up with Jeffrey Epstein. Orange Hitler, Donald Trump, say hi to karma. It's yours. So Corey Holcomb, say hi to karma. Your karma. TMZ didn't ruin your life. TMZ didn't ruin your career. TMZ didn't get you good. You got yourself good. So I hope the lesson for men in general is that at what point will we say real men hold ourselves accountable, each other accountable, and real men do not engage under any circumstances in any type of abuse, be it physical abuse or sexual abuse. Violence against women, it is not a woman's problem. It's men's problem. And men, real men, we can end it, but we have to hold other men accountable and make it unacceptable. Now, if you need some help, you need some therapy, whatever, you need to sit and talk. I will always lean into my humanity, but I will not compromise my humanity and condone and co-sign abuse and violence. Because leaning in humanity means that I got to hold you accountable. If I see you engaging in some type of violence, especially against a woman, and as a black man, especially violence against a black woman, I don't care if she was white or purple or green, I would condemn it. I wouldn't condone it. But you know what we're not going to do? I just talked about how from the beginning of the slave trade in America, from the time our enslaved ancestors were brought here, little black girls, you had a significant number of little black girls that they were purchased, they were enslaved, they were purchased as sex slaves, or fancy girls was the legal term. You can Google this, you can chat GPT this, you can ask Aisha on the Digital Green Book. That's a black-owned company. You can find it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'm not leaving a link here. That's fine, but I give you the information. I'll put it out there. I'm gonna throw you know what? Here's some bait. Here's some little seeds, like bird seeds. I'll put the information out there. So, man, that's our challenge. I've been talking about this for 5 years. We have to make it unacceptable. And I can have love for you. I can hope that you get your life together. If you are engaging in some form of abuse or violence, but first thing we got to do is hold you accountable. You got to be held accountable. You have to understand that that behavior is unacceptable. Full stop. Now, we will help you. We will extend the humanity that you didn't extend when you put your hands on a woman. In the instance of Corey Holcomb, or for all the men, famous and infamous, that have engaged in sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, sex trafficking, all of it. We have to hold you accountable and make sure that you understand that that behavior is unacceptable. Full stop. That's where we start from. And then you can begin to unpack what's the root of that behavior? What's the trigger? What is the pain? What pain are you dealing with? Who or what has hurt you that is causing you to want to do harm and hurt someone else? You got to focus on healing yourself and unpacking that pain and dealing with that pain and learning how to manage that pain and heal yourself so you don't hurt anybody else. All right. Shout out to everybody watching tonight. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. That's 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Tell everybody to subscribe, like, share, and subscribe, all right? Call to action, group chat, or group text. Get your group text, get your phone and go ahead and go to your group text, send a text out. 19 new subscribers. The Geno Jones Show becomes the YouTube partner, which means my media company will get a check from YouTube every month. I thank you in advance, because I'm sure by the time I wake up in the morning, we would have crossed that threshold. So I thank you. Get on that group text. Also, that helps the algorithms. So does your comments. So once again, click on that thumbs up. That helps my algorithm. They being YouTube, they monitor all that determines how much money that they will pay you and your company and your YouTube channel. So it's so important that we support Black-owned businesses. So I thank you in advance. So click on the thumbs up button, share this and every episode, share it and tag it on any and every social media page and see. Share, and once again, subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Shout out to Mayor Chardell Murray of Hollywood, South Carolina, and Murray's Mortuary. She is a brand new sponsor, first new sponsor of 2026 for the Geno Jones Show. Thank you, Mayor Chardell Murray. Murray's Mortuary. They have 3 locations here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area, North Charleston, Johns Island, and Hollywood, South Carolina. All right, so you'll be seeing Mayor Murray. I think she's going to be on in a couple of weeks. I know she will be on a couple of weeks. She's got a big event happening in the town of Hollywood, South Carolina. So I want to thank her. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, IG. Kel be cutting up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her out on IG, on Instagram. That's LX.NCL_. LX.NCL_. Check out Allie Jones and her Lexi Jones collection. Fashion designer. And she DJs too. All right. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching live. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you live Wednesday, Working Divas Wednesday on the show, on the TV show and the radio show, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Thank you for watching, everybody.
When Geraldine and I tell our girls about growing up in the 80s and 90s, it's like talking about a whole different planet. We used to play outside till the streetlights came on. We drank straight out of the water hose, ran everywhere, explored, got lost, got hurt, busted our knees, our heads, and our butts. Nobody knew where we were, what we were doing, or who we were with. I'm Chris Jones. I'm a rocket scientist, a minister, and a girl dad. And I have a theory about why childhood and everything else feels different now. Because gravity hasn't changed, but the price of a trip to the hospital has. Blue jeans, Jordans, gas, groceries, and health insurance. Everything is more expensive. and is scaring us out of risk, innovation, and the joy of life itself. It was more affordable to fall, to fail, to get back up. And our parents trusted America enough to let us run free. Bankruptcy was for gamblers and crooked real estate developers, not middle-class families, not teachers, not cancer patients. I'm running for Congress because the fall of the American working class wasn't an accident. It was a political decision. Meet my congressman, French Hill, the most powerful banker in America. He's my opponent, but he's your problem too. He chairs the Financial Services Committee and fights anything that looks like consumer protection. The law to limit overdraft fees to $5.
This is a change that could save American households $5 billion in overdraft charges every year.
French Hill killed it. Yep, they even found a way to make being broke more expensive. If there's anybody who's gotta go, it's him. I'm blessed. I studied hard, earned 2 degrees from Morehouse College, then 2 masters and a PhD from MIT. I married my best friend, who's a combat veteran and an ER doctor. God gave us 3 beautiful daughters, and along that journey, I earned the votes of 319,000 Arkansans who believe we deserve better. I have good news for you. You can still go outside till the street lights come on. We call it organizing. Just you and a few friends fighting for your freedom, standing up for each other. We have 12 months to win this election. We have a poll that makes this a 1-point race and a grassroots organization that has been growing for 3.5 years. This district is full of fighters. We're doing the hard work, and we need you to join us.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.